Welcome to the Fourth Row Podcast, your exclusive source for 2A basketball. And now, your hosts, coming to you from the Slim Force studio, Andy and Benny Hill.
Okay, here we go. We had some shuffling around, and Coach Shep has joined us. This has been a lot of fun. Me personally, thank you so much. I want to say thank you guys for coming over here. It's been a lot of fun to have you here, and it was fun to sit while you were doing the girls. You're a natural. It was really good, and I got excited while you were doing the girls' draft. And the nice thing was, I think I knew all but about 2 girls that I've seen either on TV or watched them play in person. So you did a good job, Peyton, of helping us understand girls' basketball this year.
Great job.
I was pumped for the games at State.
That was fun because I'd heard the names. Mm-hmm. And to put the face to it, and the game to it.
It was a lot of fun.
She spoke out. So, yes, it's been awesome to have Peyton on here with us.
So they just finished.
Coach Shep now this is like your 3rd time on here now.
Yeah, it's fun. I like this a lot, actually.
This is a lot of fun. So we're gonna roll to our boys team. That the girls team went really smooth. It's fun how once you get into momentum and you're like, how's this gonna go? And it just kind of goes has its own life and going direction. So we'll do the same thing. Well, I'll have Benny announce the MVP. And then we'll both announce our captains, and then we'll flip the coin, and we'll go from there.
Unanimous decision. That's not even a question. Brock Felder,
yeah,
the MVP of this 2A season. He came. Last year was his first year at PR1, and obviously he made an immediate impact on the game. Did just complete impact on the game. And PR1 last year, they lost in the quarterfinals to Enterprise last year, so that stopped their run. And this year, Parowan had kind of the same trajectory they did last year. Well, inconsistent to begin the season. Then they got super, super hot, ran through a run of region undefeated and made it look easy. I mean, they beat Kanab by 30. They were smoking teams. Then they leveled out a little bit, dropped off a little bit, lost a few games towards the end of the year. But when the playoffs started, we made the comment, this is a team that could lose in the play-in game, which they had San Juan in the play-in game. They could drop that. They'd lost to them twice already earlier. Mm-hmm. So they could lose that game, or they can win a championship.
Yeah.
Or someone, but they won it, and it wasn't. They won it. They were the best team.
Yeah, they did all the way through.
And Brock Felder was the best player on the best team. So no doubt he's the MVP. Yeah. Complete unicorn for 2A basketball. Coach Shep, have you ever seen a player that dominant in 2A?
No, and we probably may never see that again.
Yeah, that's very, very rare at the 2A level. We've had some that have been very, very talented. The last one I could possibly think of is maybe Aaron Hill, which was in 1999. Mm-hmm. Prior to that, maybe we had Sean Bradley long time ago in the early 90s and Ryan Cuff.
Yeah, you're going way back.
But at the 2A level, he's probably the most dominant in 20, 30 years.
Yeah, and you watched the state tournament, and guys were double, triple teaming him. Even in the state championship game, it didn't matter. He's still going up and under.
So he's putting up 32 in the championship game against a defense that has a guy on him the entire time, plus dropping guards to help, plus bringing another defender at times, for sure double and not triple team. So, Hey, Brock Felder, fantastic season. Congratulations to you, Brock, in the season you had. No doubt a very, very specially talented player, not only big, but skilled and can shoot and score at every level.
Yep.
And what was scary with him is you could see that the Brock played with a little bit more aggressive motor in the playoffs, and that's a scary thing to see Brock with the motor getting up into 3rd, 4th gears. That's a scary player. So MVP Brock Felder.
Yeah, congratulations, Brock. All right, let's talk about our captains. Want to announce your captain first?
Absolutely. My captain for my team, Hunter Rhodes. Hunter Rhodes is a dynamic scorer and has been for a solid 3.5 years. He's been on the varsity scene, and he's been that player for his team that's top of the board that everyone's sending multiple players at, face guarding, guarding him when the other team's on offense themselves. They're guarding Hunter Rhodes, getting tugged on his jersey the entire time. Boxing ones. He's seen it since he was probably in 6th and 7th grade. Mm-hmm. He has faced the best defenders and the best defense every team's going to play against him. and he's put up a lot of points and been the leader of his team, and they've won a lot of games. They've been ranked two in last year. They're number 2 in the final RPI. This year they're number 2 in the RPI, and a credit to him. Does Hunter put up a lot of shots? Absolutely, he does. He makes a lot of shots and scores a lot. We said if Hunter would have played with a dominant post player like some of these guys we'll mention tonight, I think Millard would have been, could have had a chance to win a championship.
Yeah, for sure.
But Hunter Rhodes, very, very special player. He's going to be my captain.
Yeah, back-to-back Region 16 champions, 16 straight wins in Region 16.
Yep.
Correct me if they didn't lose in Region play the last 2 years.
That is correct. Yep.
Fantastic pick. My captain, I'm going to go with Brady Crouch from Enterprise. Brady's not the flashiest player on the court. In fact, he hardly talks. But he is the guy. He is the guy that makes Enterprise work. Enterprise is the steady Eddie. They have an offense and defense, and Coach Randall just makes those work. But you can tell when Brady's on the court and when he's not on the court. Last year as a sophomore, unbelievable run that they made last year.
Led him to a state championship.
Yeah. And
without a miracle finish, he is a state champion.
Yeah, the way that he does it. And this year, I think he's upped his game. I spent a whole game with his dad on Friday night watching the semifinal game. Talked to his grandpa. This kid puts in the time. He's not a big kid, but he puts in the time. He's a respecter of the game. He's never going to do anything.
He's not going to put up 20 points a night. Generally, he doesn't have to.
He's not going to do that. He's going to put up shots when he need to. He'll get in the paint. He'll elevate. But more than anything, he's the floor general on that team, and he makes it go. And I love how he is. And I know we've told this story before. This is one of the reasons why I love Brady Crouch. Last year, after that heartbreaking loss against San Juan, we were out on the court and everybody's out doing their thing, and San Juan's cutting down the nets, and Brady comes back out and found Lad Ivans and gave him a big hug and told him good game and left. Most kids don't do that.
Yeah.
He's a special kid. He's a special talent. That's why I want him as my captain. He's just a quiet leader out there.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
Coach Shep has spoke to this, but we wanted to bring it up. How important is a point guard?
Maybe the most important player on the team.
Yeah. You can when that's one spot that you do not have to worry about, and a lot of these high level point guards, you saw it in the girls level and even at the boys level. If that's one position you don't have to worry about, they're not going to turn it over. They're going to play defense. They're going to get you in offensive sets. Then you can worry about other things. That's one that you can just, with Brady Crouch, Coach Randall can just take that out of his mind. I don't have to worry about it. Mm-hmm. He's got it dialed in.
Yeah.
2 captains. Like it.
All right.
Good start to our teams.
Okay. Well, let's do the coin toss. So the winner, my guess will get Brock Felder.
So we'll Shep, you just go ahead and call it. I got heads. Andy's got tails. Got a coin?
I need a coin.
Let's have a coin here. I got heads. Andy's got tails.
All right, here we go.
Call it up.
It is tails.
Did I win?
You won. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, that's a weird quarter. Yeah, I had to check that too.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah.
I won last year, and I took Brock Felder first pick, so I'm assuming.
So I am going to go with the first pick. I am going to take Brock Felder from Parowan.
Imagine that.
So are we going first on the board, Brock Felder? Are we going the serpentine route, or are we going just back and forth?
These guys went serpentine route, so I'm fine. Let's do serpentine route. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you'll pick twice and then it'll come
times,
back?
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Give me just a second here. I was kind of like Peyton, or I think Shep, the first pick. Obviously, you're going with the MVP, and I should have been more prepared for my pick here. But,
there's a lot of good people on the board still. So
I
don't think you could go wrong.
I can't go wrong with anyone.
Yeah.
I think for my pick, I'm going to go with Kaysen James from Kanab.
Right.
I think Kaysen, I love the motor he plays with. I love the edge that he plays with. I know it probably drives Coach Glazier absolutely nuts, but I would take him on my team in a heartbeat. Someone that's running on the edge like that, special things can happen more so than if you're not. And now, does he get himself in trouble sometimes? Absolutely. I would take the trade-off.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think for him, one thing that I've very, very impressed with him since the first time I saw him was as a sophomore, and to see him now, I would say, as far as a skilled player, footwork, moving, in the post, his feel around the rim to work around defenders. I think he has the best skill footwork in the paint than anybody in 2A.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's just a dynamic player. And I love his motor, love his competitive fire. He's a big dude. I mean, he's signed to play at SUU football. So obviously he's a tough guy. So I'm going to take him as my first pick.
All right.
Good pick. Well, I think if you take Brock Felder, if he's not a two-way, Kayson's arguably the most athletic.
So we got Brock Felder off the board, Kayson Janes. My next pick, I think this kid has a very, very special feel for the game, and I know that at any point when his team needed a bucket, they could go to him, and he's almost unguardable, and he hits absolutely unbelievable shots, and that's Emilio Miramontes.
Emilio.
I think he is probably – it's hard to say he's an underrated player. People would maybe say that just because they might look at his stats. But if I have a game that I need a game winner, I would put the ball in his hands every single time.
Oh, yeah.
No question about it.
You even know. So we're in the quarterfinal game. No, excuse me. It was the one-loss game. South Severe was playing Enterprise. And there was just a couple seconds left, and they're down by 3, and Emilio has the ball, and I'm like, he's going to make it. That's just what he does.
And I think he just rimmed it out.
Yeah.
We were driving in our car when we watched that. But he has a very, very special feel for the game. And those kind of players, it's not a teachable thing, and it's not something you learn. You just have it. Mm-hmm. And he has that natural gift. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take Emilio Miramontes as my second pick.
All right. I'm gonna go a little bit different here than I thought. This is different the way I thought I was gonna go. I've got Brock, who's got my post covered. I'm gonna go with a guy who I know that can put up some shots, and I don't think there's anybody that can really guard him, and that's Ridge Tebbs.
Solid point. He can shoot deep. He's like the Aaliyah Baldwin of 2A. Yeah. He can stretch it out a long ways.
Late in the season, people, not that they figured out Ridge because they knew what he was going to do, but Ridge got a lot more pressure as he moved out, and they started putting long guys out on him. And what did he do? He just go the rack. And Ridge is going to give you 20 points a night, but if you leave him anywhere inside that volleyball line, he's going to hit 40-45% of his three-point shots. He's one of those dynamic players. He can get to the rim. He can shoot. He's everywhere. So if I've got Brock and Ridge, I got inside out covered right now.
Like it.
Is it my pick again?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'm going to go a little bit different on this one. So I've got my scorer inside. I've got my scorer outside. I didn't know that I was going to go this early. I've still got Brady Crouch as my guard. Actually, I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going with Austin Thomas from Enterprise.
He's another very fundamental player.
Austin Thomas, lefty. He's from the Enterprise school of basketball. You get the ball, you drop step, you put it up and in, you make your free throws, you play hard-nosed defense. That's what Austin Thomas does. I remember we saw him play last year. He actually got a lot of playing time on that team last year. But early in the season, we went down when they played South Severe early in the season, and he just dominated on the boards. Just big boy. Late in the game, he was elevating. He was getting some boards. I love the way he plays. I love the way he plays with passion. He's a big guy. If we can get Brock on one side and Thomas on the other side, that's going to be tough.
I like it. He's going the big route here on me.
Yeah. One thing I liked about Austin, I noticed that that younger kid, the Whitman kid, he fouled. Can't remember what game it was. It may have been that game against Millard, that 5th and 6th place game. But he walked over there, and just to see his leadership talking to a younger kid, telling him what he knows, because Austin has some experience, right? And so just to see his leadership and how he interacted with the younger kids on the team, that's what impressed me about Austin.
Yeah, good kid. All right, you're up.
There's a lot of different directions to go here. A lot of good players on the board, and I think I can outwit you on some of these here. I'm going to go. I got to shoot some bombs here. I'm going to go with Jordan Cornell.
All right.
Jordan Cornell, since he was a sophomore, he has been one of the top 3-point shooters in 2A. And he's got a quick catch and release, very, very dynamic shooter. If Jordan Cornell was not the number one shooting threat of Kanab Cowboys, if he was maybe a third option on a team, and he's going to get so many open looks, it's not even funny. And when he has his feet set and he's got an open look, I mean, I bet he probably shoots 50+% from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
And based upon what he's done for 3 years now, they finished third last year and they finished second this year. I think Jordan Cornell is a fantastic shooting scorer. He's going to add some depth to my team, shooting from long range.
Yeah, I think he's had 73 threes, if this is correct. Number one, Hunter Rhodes, was 74. So.
And Ridge was 73. So
yeah,
there's some shooting
There's
for you
some
guys.
bombs away going on. Yes.
All right, you're up.
Oh, I'm up again? Jordan Cornell. Another player that I heard the name early on, and I didn't know nor had I seen him play, but I love the style that he plays with. I love the swagger he plays with. He's got great handles. He's got a great feel for the game. A bit of an unknown, but I think Cash Mortensen is a fantastic player. I do. I think he's got some wiggle. He's got some he can handle the ball. He's another kid, sophomore point guard for the state championship Parowan Rams. So he's handling that point for Coach Murphy. And Coach Shep, once again, I love to look in the eyes of players during games, and he's unflappable. He really was. The stage was not too big for him. And so my pick, Cash Mortensen, he's going to give us some flair. I might have the most flary team with Hunter Rhodes and Cash Mortensen on there.
That's true. That's true. Well, I've got two big guys and I've got a shooter. I've got to get me some guy that can handle the ball. And I didn't know I was going to take him this early, but I'm going with Cale Glover.
I knew I'd give that one up.
Cale, we were heartbroken, but we mentioned this on the earlier podcast. I don't even know what to say about Cale. The way he played in that state championship game as a sophomore, it reminded me a lot of Brady Crouch the year before. You know, he just kind of took over the game and handled it. He was kind of the steady Eddie out there when they needed to get the ball up and they needed to get it controlled. Cale did. He took some huge shots down at the end. Just a little guy, but
he's got some onions. He was just absolutely the confidence that he plays with, unflappable.
Yeah, and I need a guy like that on my team. I got two big guys. Ridge. I don't want Ridge bringing the ball down. I want Ridge shooting the ball. So I'm gonna pick up Cale Glover as my point guard. I think it's my pick.
Your
next,
pick too,
right?
yes.
Wow. Let me see.
Don't you take my pick.
I remember we said this last year too.
I got mine locked in.
You could take Jep Young and have all the bigs, and then Ben just has to go small the entire time.
He may have the best mullet in 2A.
Yeah. You know what? I think I'm going to go big. I'm going to go Jep Young from Duchesne.
Okay.
Wow.
I know there's a couple guys out there who vastly improved this year. Jep Young from last year to this year is night and day different. As far as a big guy with a mid-range shot, he is money. He took a bunch of threes. He's one of those guys I wouldn't be scared to put him on the three-point line. But 15 feet and in, man, he was
He's
good.
a big mismatch.
And
for
in that
big players.
and then that state tournament, he played some big boy basketball, and he was playing against big guys. He was playing against Case and Janes.
I don't know if you know. Did you? Once again, I beat this to it. I was watching him and his demeanor during that Kanab game. It was going into the fourth quarter. He was joking around with his teammates. He had a smile on his face, and it's just that kind of stuff. I just love to see it.
Yeah.
He loves to play the game, and he got exceptionally. He just kept getting better.
Yeah. So far, I'm going to take Jep Young. I wasn't planning on this, but looks like we're going to be a half court offensive juggernaut so far.
I need some rebounders. This is an easy pick. I need some rebounders. I need some muscle. This is the unsung. In my belief, Parowan doesn't win a state championship without Luke Millett.
Yeah.
I think his motor. He's got a motor, and I think a lot of time he played in about second and third gear. But when you saw his motor at the state tournament, and him and Brock both were getting into fourth gear and maybe looking to get into fifth, that's a scary, scary duo in the post. So Luke Millett, the one knock on him, we got to keep him out of the game late in the game, and he would probably laugh about this. Not a dynamic free throw shooter. Nope. And I think you brought up the stat. He shot more free throws than just about anybody in 2A.
There was only one other person that shot more free throws than Luke did this year. Now, he didn't make as many as everybody else, but that surprised me, which tells me that he's getting to the rack.
Well, he's getting to the rack. He's in the action, offensive boards. He's attacking the rim, and that's what I need on my team. We can chuck it up, and we got a lot of flair, but we need just the ultimate. I love scrum guys. Every team needs a scrum guy. Luke's going to do that for us.
You could put Luke on Brock.
That'd be a fun matchup.
I didn't think about that, but that would probably be his toughest defender, is to Luke to try to lock him down.
Well,
what do you think about that one, Coach Shep?
I like it.
So Luke Millett's going to be some muscle for me.
Not to mention he had an alley-oop dunk.
That's
in
true.
The tournament, so
I didn't.
he's athletic.
We did
too.
his that. All right, you're still up.
We got to get Mel Brown off the board here. I'm going to go with, at this point right here, I'm going to go, geez, we're just going to keep shooting some balls up. Why not? Parker Crum had a fantastic season. I really do. I think he got better and better. And every time Duchesne needed a big shot in the tournament, he was hitting deep balls. Against American Heritage, he was hitting deep balls. Against Kanab, he was. They were down big in not big, but they were down several possessions in both those games, and he came up with huge, deep balls against those. He plays with a lot of confidence. He's got great skill. He can get in the paint. He's got good footwork in the paint as well, and can shoot the three. Great leader. So I'm gonna go with Parker Crum.
All right.
He seems like one of those kids that have been playing forever too.
Yes,
And he still has
the
another
first
year.
time we saw him, we went up to Duchesne. It was the first year we were in the region, so he would have been a freshman. He played in the freshman game. He was the best player in the freshman game. Played in the JV game, was the best player in the JV game, and then he was playing varsity as well as a freshman. So, very, very good talent. You be up.
All right, I've got some bunch of guards and then a bunch of big guys, and I got nobody in between. I need an in-between guy. I need a slasher guy. I need a guy that can shoot from the outside, maybe post up if I need to. My mid-range guy, I'm going to take the guy called the Silent Assassin. That's Brant Stevens from Millard.
I'm surprised he dropped so. To be honest with you, I'm surprised he's dropped this much.
And I think only because, maybe because he plays so quiet, but very, very skilled.
Yeah.
And I think probably perhaps we were enamored a little bit, I know for me, about the guys that played on the big stage just this past week. And that usually happens is when there's a big stage and you see guys, and that's the most recent you've seen, and they played exceptionally well. Now, if Brant would have been on the big stage as well, he would be talked to the top of the list also.
Yeah. Right. But obviously between he and Hunter Rhodes, let's be honest, they carried that team for the last 2 years. And
Oh, yes.
And those two guys, they did it. And Brant just quietly went. Brant is an exceptional defender. He can obviously put up a lot of points, but he is an exceptional defender. He can shoot the mid-range. He can go to the hole. You can post him up. He's just a good kid. He's the kind of player you just want on your team, right? There's no drama. There's no fluff. He's just going to go out there and give you what he's got. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to take Brant Stevens with my next pick. All right. Let's see where we're at. Okay. One more. I'm gonna get another guard here. I'm gonna get a guy that he for the last 2 years hasn't had some great seasons. His freshman sophomore year played exceptionally well. He played with a great team both those freshman sophomore years with some good kids. And he's struggled the last couple years with some different things, but he's still a special talent. He can, in my opinion, he can get to the hole about any time he wants. He can pull up, he can shoot deep, very dynamic. I'm going to go with John Wilden from Gunnison.
Might be a player that most that aren't in Region 16. If you're in Region 16, you know John Wilden. Outside of that, you may not, but a very, very special player. Yeah. Great young man. And we love John.
Yeah, he deserves this. Like I say, he hasn't had the best years, and I know he would say that too. A lot of different dynamics going on, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he's a special player. He's very quick. I've seen what he can do when you get guys around him, and he's in the right system and he's in the right situation. He's tough, and I love John. I love his game. And the thing of it, he's just kept on trucking. And, there's a lot of those guys out there. And the other thing I would say tonight, there's a lot of guys out there who may not make this list, but they're still great guys. But we want to recognize the ones that we said, hey, these are guys that we've noticed over the years, and they deserve some recognition.
And the reality is let's not sugarcoat it. Obviously, we have a lot invested in people that we know.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's a lot easier to those are the first ones that come to your mind.
And John really, for almost all intents and purposes, has been almost a 4-year starter on the varsity level.
That is correct.
His freshman year, he was a bit overwhelmed. He was playing a bunch of older kids. Sophomore year, had a really good year playing with some kids that we had, a really good season. And he's a good talent.
And so I can speak John. Obviously, I was the coaching during that time. And John is one, he fits into that typical point guard role at that time. John's a natural scorer, though. John can flat score. He's kind of awkward. His finishes, he finishes off of either foot, either hand. He's kind of unconventional in the way he plays a little bit. But as a coach, he was that guy that I didn't have to worry about. Even when he was playing as a sophomore, he was a sophomore point guard. I didn't have to worry about him. Mm-hmm. That's one guy. Put in his hands, John, get us in offense. Don't turn the ball over. Mm-hmm. That's all you ask of him. And he did a fantastic job. After that, he then became the top of everyone's defensive board. Mm-hmm. And then it got, we didn't have a whole lot around, then it became difficult.
Yeah.
But John, great career at Gunnison High School.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good career.
All right. Is it your pick or mine?
It is mine.
Okay.
And I am going to go with probably the most likable player in 2A basketball, and it might even extend beyond 2A basketball, and that's our good friend Mel Brown.
Oh, absolutely.
The other thing that goes into this, and it's just a selfish thing for Andy and I, is one, you have those that you know and that you like. Mel Brown is the very first player that engaged with us when we started the podcast, the very first one, and that happened at the SVC last year. We came out with our first Power 5 or whatever, and Parawan was in that, and North Summit knocked him off. And Mel Brown sends us a picture on the bus with them celebrating and said, something like, "Oh, you think we're underrated now?" or some shot like that, And we're like, "Who is this Mel Brown character?" Yeah. And so from then it started, and he is such a likable young man, and he's fantastic. And it's from. I can only go off of how he has treated us and the relationship treated, the relationship he's had with my boys. you see Mel all the time. A lot of the season, you see Mel with jersey swaps with other players that he's played with.
Yeah, I can guarantee you in this game, Mel is going to get a jersey swap with every one of these guys.
And the fact that this is the thing about Mel is a fan of all these players. I mean, he is an absolute fanboy of the best players in 2A. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about him, is that he just has a pure love for the game of basketball, and he loves to root for all these guys. He was just sitting there telling me about, hey, I love this player because of this, and I love this player because of that, and he's my good friend, and we've been snapping, and I just got a chance to visit with him. We sit down and visit. He just has relationships and just wants to be involved, even to the point of coming in and talking with us. And Mel has I don't know, he just loves basketball. He's a great guy to have around. So if nothing else, you always want to have those guys that make the locker room better. And Mel's got skills.
Yeah, he can put 20 points up a night if he needs to. I think sometimes Mel gets put over in Mel, but from last year to this year, Mel's greatly improved too.
And I will say this, fact of the matter, why is Mel on our list here is because Mel has reached out and created a relationship with the fourth row. Mm-hmm. And that's why you can look at that. That's a guy that I want on my team. Mm-hmm. Part of our rules is we can put whoever we want on our team.
Right.
I don't know. Are there other big men in 2A, probably in the northern regions, that might be better players? Probably. But I want Mel on my team. Mm-hmm. So how about that?
Yeah.
I'm taking Mel Brown.
All right. I love Mel. It was fun to see him up there.
Oh, Mel Brown. Get him off the board. I am going to then. I'm going to take. I'm going to go with a big player. I thought this player had a fantastic tournament from American Heritage, Ricky Patterson.
Yeah.
I think that he was the one offensive player that I saw in the entire tournament that could back Brock Felder in the post and score on him. Mm-hmm. Now, it wasn't that obviously that's not American Heritage game plan, and they were so far behind that it wasn't something they could continue to go to the well on. But he could in the post could score against Brock Felder. Mm-hmm. Probably the biggest player that could help defend Brock Felder as well. So I'm going to go with Ricky Patterson. He had a great year for the Patriots.
Fantastic year. Yeah, they showed well. And
he can shoot at all levels, and he can play the post game. And he's a big guy. So
I loved his post game. You don't see a lot of people drop stepping and
kind of slow. It goes in.
It was very slow.
Like the clock stops. You're like, dude, this is really slow. What's happening here? And he's kind of just back and feeling and
then he puts it right up over him.
Yeah. All right, I got 2 picks, and then you got the final one, right?
That is correct.
All right. So with my final 2 picks, I'm going to take 2 guys that if I need threes late in the game, I think I can bring either one of these guys in and shoot threes. So I'm going to take Randy Elmer from North Severe, the lefty, and homer alert, I'm going to take our hometown Jet Hill.
It was funny. I was wondering, you know why you need Jet on your team, and it's the same reason I would need Jet on my team. Every coach needs some player that can chew their ass when something's going wrong. That's the honest truth, because most coaches, you just want to tear, if you're pissed off, you just want to tear into somebody. But I can't yell at this guy. I can yell at my son. Dang it! I can lash out at him, and I can tear him up, and hopefully everyone else will get the hint.
Yeah.
Both these players, honestly, great young men. Mm-hmm. We throw the homer alert about Jet. I'll let you talk about Jet. Go ahead and take that one.
No, I think Jet's a junior this year. A lot of these kids were just thrown into a varsity role this year. So not a lot of varsity experience last year for a lot of our juniors this year. And he stepped in, played very well. We were jokingly saying this earlier. He just needs to learn how to control his foul trouble early on in games. But the one thing about Jet, if you know anything about him, he's a speedster. He's a track guy, 200-meter guy. He finished second to Travis Stewart last year. Might be the favorite in the 200-meter this year. But Jet's going to get out and run. And you get him out in transition. He's going to outrun guys. He can shoot the three. He can shoot free throws. He can get to the hole. And that's one thing that I love about Jet. And he's passionate. When he gets on a roll, he had some big games this year when he got on a roll. Once he gets going, he gets going. And you want somebody that I'm much like Benny. I love guys that wear their feelings on their sleeves out on the court. You need
Run a little on the edge.
You need the guys that are the steady eddies. You need the Brady Crouches, right? They're gonna keep things under control. But I love guys that are just gonna get hyped. And Jet got hyped this year. A bunch of games, got the crowd in. Struggled a little bit late in the season as the Bulldogs did. They just kind of struggled down the stretch. But I need Jet on my team. Randy. Watching Randy from the outside, he's one of those guys for me. I'm always watching where he is on the court. And the thing that really caught my eye is that last game of the season. He went all in. I think he left everything, from my perspective, he left everything out there. And as a senior on your team, that's what you want.
Speak to him, Coach.
Yeah, I will. Homer alert, right? He's my guy, but he's gonna be one that I'm gonna miss a lot. Just he's someone I think any coach would want, would pick him to have on their team. He's very coachable. He does anything that you want him to do as a coach. He always guarded the other team's best player, and he took a big part of the offensive role for us this year. But that last game, 7 threes, 31 points, guarded their best player. He deserves to be on here.
Yeah, he put the team on his back, and that's what you love to see as a guy. The last game of the season, it was almost like, all right, guys, I'm going to give you everything I got, and I just came up a little bit short. But you love the guys that finish like that, and he'll remember that for the rest of his life. He's like, I had 31 points in the last game of my career, and I gave it everything I had, and that's the kind of guy I want. My team kind of ended up with a bunch of shooting guards and big guys. Hopefully it works.
What you got here?
You got one pick left.
The last player on my team, one of the best three-point shooters for the past 2 seasons. He was a very, very smooth stroke. Best player for the Roland Hall Winged Lions this year, Kai Dowdle. He can flat put it up. Mm-hmm. He led the Roland Hall Winged Lions 18.2 points per game, 66 threes, 168 rebounds. He probably led them in every statistical category.
Yeah, and they came down and played this year. I think he was number 1 on the board this year. Last year he was hiding a little bit behind some of the guys from last year, and he kind of flew under the radar this year, Kai. But even with that being said, he had a good year.
Yeah.
And the other thing we like about Kai is, like say they came to Gunnison earlier. We know Coach Alvidrez. Knowing Coach Alvidrez and the kind of kids that he has on his program, I'm sure he would say, this is the kind of kid you want on your team.
Yep, 100%.
Goes out, does his job, gives you everything you got, and that's what you get out of him.
Yep. Go through your team, Andy, real quick.
All right.
Did we get everybody?
I think we got everybody. Yeah. So my team, headed up by the captain, Brady Crouch. I got the big man, Brock Felder, Ridge Tebbs, the lefty from Enterprise, Austin Thomas, a man down from Kanab, Cale Glover, Jep Young, Brant Stevens, John Wilden, Randy Elmer, and Jet Hill.
My squad, my captain, Hunter Rhodes, Kason Janes, Emilio Miramontes, Jordan Cornell, Cash Mortensen, Luke Millett, Parker Crum, Mel Brown, Ricky Patterson, and Kai Dowdle.
Fantastic.
That's it.
A lot of fun.
Andy, let's make note of how many other people we had on our board here.
We had another
probably close to 10 more.
Pretty close to 10 more guys. And, you get to a situation like this and you wish you could recognize everybody. Unfortunately, given the setting where we are, you can't, and you have to just pick and choose. I will say this much, and I think Benny would echo this. We're not always just looking at stats for these guys.
100%.
We're looking at guys who, if I had to make up a team and I said, these are the guys I want on my team for a lot of different reasons, these are the 20 guys we want on our team. Now, Are these guys going to put up points and rebound and do everything else? Yeah, but these are guys also that we hope shake hands and they do uniform swaps and they keep in touch with each other because, as we mentioned earlier, our goal is to unite the 2A community, bring everybody together. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. Are there guys that have put up better stats than these and you can argue that? Yeah, you could argue that all day long. We're not here to do that. But there's a lot of extenuating factors. If you've listened to the podcast over the last 2 years, you'll know that we're not just stat driven. We're saying we're bringing in the human element.
That is the most important thing to me, and I'll go as far as this. I think one thing about this that we always try to strive is complete transparency. We always talk about that with I'm a big believer in that with the High School Activities Association, with the RPI, with officiating, with school administrators, just full transparency. Mm-hmm. If everyone was just fully transparent on what the process is and what your goal is, then no one can argue with that. Mm-hmm. But when you're not transparent, then you have questions and things like that. And that's why I loved this year. I loved the homer alert. Mm-hmm. because quite frankly, is there anything wrong with the homer alert? Absolutely not. I look at this instance, right? And this is just full transparency. I'm a dad who has a kid that's a high school player, also a guy that runs a podcast. Mm-hmm. I want to expose my son, who I think has had a great season for the Bulldogs. I want to expose him to the best players there is in 2A.
Right.
So does Jet deserve to be on this team? Absolutely. Would I leave him off just because I'm the dad? I don't think, in full transparency, that's not fair. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't expect anyone else would do it with their kid either. Right. So I think ultimately our whole goal with all of this is to build young men. Mm-hmm. In our small little way, build relationships with these kids and help build them up.
Yep.
Will there be a reality that we have to have alternates, that some of these kids can't make it? Probably, practically so, yep. Yes. And then at that point, we'll go through our alternate list and contact those players to play as well.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, too, you have to limit it at a certain point. You'd love to take 30 guys on, but you just don't practically, logistically, you can't do all that.
Yeah, and I would say too, to that point, if we have somebody that can't come, and we reach out to you as an alternate, please don't feel like that's
a slight
or anything else. That's certainly not it. We take a lot of factors into account here. Sometimes we look at what year of school some of these guys are, and some of our guys may have been underclassmen, and we say, okay, maybe they're not quite there yet, but given this circumstances, they are. So if we reach out to you, don't feel like and don't say, well, I wish I got to made the team the first time. Don't look at it that way. Look at it and say, you will not have another opportunity like this anywhere in 2A. I can tell you that right now. Any of the other all-star teams, the all-star games, they will not be the same as this one. That's not knocking anything else, but I feel like ours is very unique, the way that we pick the teams, the way that the game is going to be set up, what we're going to try to do in the background. Just a little plug for the game. We're going to have everybody meet at Gunnison High School, do a quick recognition for everybody. We're not going to have a big banquet, partly just because of logistics, and to be full transparent, we don't have big budgets to do these type of things. We appreciate our sponsors. But the one thing as a parent, and I will just say this about the game. One thing as a parent, we were blessed enough. My son Harley, his senior year, he got invited to a couple games. And the one thing that really turned me off is they said, "Hey, we'd love to have your son Harley come and play. Oh, by the way, find a sponsor and pay a bunch of money to come watch your kid." I know that's going to sound a little trite and a little angst, but it really turned me off. And so one thing we did is when we set up this game, we said, players aren't going to play, parents aren't going to pay to come and watch a kid. They've got to this point to get recognized. We're going to work on the stuff in the background to make sure that they can show up and enjoy the game, do what they need to, and go home. They shouldn't have to come and do that. And I know that might sound a little petty, but
you're kind of petty tonight, man.
That's one of those things that I think is very important. Parents pay enough money to go and watch their kid all year long. They don't need to come and pay for the kid to come and play in an all-star game. Again, our goal is to bring the community together. So we hope as these kids come, we hope their coaches will come. We hope their parents will come. We hope fans and students will come. We know it's the first year. We know it's a Thursday night. But I think if everybody will buy into this, it will be a really neat experience, and kids and everybody will leave saying, man, I wish we would have done that before.
Well, hopefully that's our goal, is that people we're rolling the dice on this one. We are rolling the dice on this one.
Uncharted territory.
So we hope people come away saying that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That'd be a success for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So congratulations to all these players who made this team. It was a fantastic season. Congratulations to Pair 1 Rams, Brock Felder, Cash Mortensen, Coach Murphy. They earned it. They went out and played the way they need to, and they won 3 games in the state tournament, and they won. And also congratulations to all those teams that were there. Not every boy or girl basketball player or coach even gets to make it to the state tournament. So to get there and be on that stage is special.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Shep, any closing thoughts?
Yeah. I'm not just saying this to be a friend, but a coach. Thank you for everything you guys do for two-way basketball. It's been a good experience for me to be able to sit here and watch you guys talk about two-way basketball. But what an amazing thing you guys have been able to do to recognize these young men and young women who deserves a little bit of recognition. They put in the hard work, they put in the time, summers, nights, mornings, and for you guys to take time away from your own families to recognize what these players and coaches are doing is incredible. So, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And no, we didn't pay him to say that either.
Like Andy said.
I had a fantastic time. I spent the state tournament with Peyton and Coach Shep, and it was very, very enjoyable. It was awesome to it's just natural. Just a natural fit. It's been absolutely awesome for us.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason, kind of going back to that, the reason why, multiple reasons. Sorry, I hope I don't get emotional here. There's a lot of reasons why we wanted to do it, and bringing the communities together was a big part of that. But there's the whole backstory of everything, of the fourth row and how it came to be. It's cool when you do things for a good cause and for the right reasons, they just work, right? And that's why it works. So, anyway, sorry.
No, there's nothing to be sorry about. And I spent 2 years crying my eyes out. I'm done crying for a long time. I got it all out, and but it is a very special thing. This I've loved every bit about this.
Yeah.
I've loved every ounce. Every Sunday night, getting to run the podcast, and the other special thing, these two guys, they come down here every week. They're down here, and I know it's not because they like their dad so much. They love to talk basketball, and they love to be around Coach Shep and Peyton and Andy, Uncle Andy. It's an awesome thing for our family to recognize Slim, recognize him, and we don't ever want his legacy to die, and to go away, and so we always. That's why we do it, honestly, is because it started with a selfish reason, and hopefully just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Well, so for the basketball season, Andy, I mean, it's been an awesome ride.
It's been great. Peyton, you got to come over here one last time.
Just pretty soon, Peyton's going to
Coach, you can stay here.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Pretty soon we'll have another addition to the Shepherd family here before too long.
Yep.
So congratulations on that. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being here this year.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's been awesome and great opportunity for everyone.
Yes.
There's another one when we were talking about having a girls basketball expert. Like I said, I knew Coach, but I didn't know you. And I know, I don't know, you slow played us a little bit. I don't know if you were trying to, I don't know. I thought, well, maybe she doesn't want to do it. So
we
maybe
waffled.
We'll move on to somebody else.
Because we kept saying, is Peyton in? If she's in, all right, we'll do it. And then we're like, I don't know. If she's out, we're out. And we're like, we're back and forth and back and forth.
Well, I was nervous. I was nervous, and then we found out about the baby, and then I was like, But I'm so happy I did it. And
so all the girls basketball fans out there, this is only happening because Peyton's here.
100%. Otherwise, we would not. Full disclosure, we weren't going to do it. We said, if Peyton's in, we're in. If she's out, we're out.
Yep.
So thank you.
Well, we're in it, so
You guys are awesome.
And next year, get your babysitters lined up early.
I know, right?
You'll have not just one, you'll have two next year.
I know. It's kind of a good thing, though, because the in-laws take them overnight. Like, Dash is sleeping over tonight, so
Wow.
yeah. It's kind of good.
You guys have been absolutely awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And this has been so much fun, and you know, it's sad that it's kind of coming to an end, but we've had a great run. We'll do it again next year if you guys are okay with that.
Absolutely.
We'll get it fired up, and this year was kind of our trial run. And I think it went better than anybody could have expected. So we'll expect some input during the track season a little bit too. We'll stay in touch.
Dill.
You are a track expert as well, state champion in track.
I wouldn't call it an expert.
You were a state champion in track. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I was, yes.
Okay.
2 events, right?
Yeah.
200, 400.
4 and 8.
4 and 8. The two worst ones.
The death.
Jackson was an 800 runner.
There you go.
That was his deal. Yep.
Make Jet run it.
You ain't gonna do that.
You ain't gonna do that. No, that's not gonna happen. Well, we appreciate everybody being with us tonight. Thank you for joining us on the top 10. We'll see everybody hopefully at the game. You're still good for the game, right? We're not having the baby till late in March.
We'll see. Whenever she wants to come.
Hopefully we'll see. But you'll see everybody here on the 9th of March here in Gunnison. For everybody who's on this list, we'll get the invites out. If you are listening to this podcast or watching YouTube and we can't reach out to you, hit us up, direct message us on Instagram. We'll put our contact information out there so you can get a hold of us. We'll do our very best to get a hold of everybody as soon as possible. But March 9th, I think our check-in, we're going to be about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Girls' game will be at 6, boys' game at 7:30. Not a lot of flare and flash. We're going to show up, do some quick recognition, roll the balls out. We're going to have some fun games, and
That's it.
Take some pictures and go home.
Just like everything we do, man. We throw it out there and we just figure it out.
Yep.
So we're going to figure that one out
And
too.
so all these players, make sure you come. You're going to get some good swag.
Yep.
Be a lot of fun. Well, we'll sign off for the night.
Take us home.
Appreciate everybody being with us. So for Peyton, for Coach Shepard, for Coach Benny Hill, I'm Andy Hill, and for the 4th row for the basketball season, we're out.
Thank you for spending your time with the 4th row. For more information, check out our website at fourthrowmedia.com or send us a message through any of our social media channels.